So I'm going to take a look at how you can address performance issues on your PPC account, be it Google Ads or Bing. So what to do when your performance drops. So it could be your CPA increases, your return on ad spend and player value falls, or your volume just disappears. So the first thing that I always do is look at the payback period. And again, this is very important across products. So comparing sportsbook with casino, but also in terms of lead sport, dealing in sports, and within the casino campaigns, your blackjack, roulette, slots, live casino, and you can break that down even further depending on how your account is set up. Now, it is important to understand all of the costs involved from a platform perspective and from a regulatory taxation perspective as well. I see so many iGaming and sports betting campaigns not factoring this in. It's important that you do. So we would generally suggest that you look at your admin, your agency costs, your VAT, other gambling taxes, and also from an NGO perspective, make sure that you're removing, your platform fees, again, your gaming tax, your provider fees, and any other costs. They can be quite substantial, and it's important as well, particularly if you have different providers, on the gaming side that have different, commission rates. It's important to be able to build that out and understand, what that means from your customer value standpoint. On top of this, across both sports and casino, doing a review using theoretical hold or margin to smooth out exceptional results is absolutely essential. You don't want to be analyzing your paid search campaign or any marketing campaign based on edge case wins or losses. So it's always good to look at that and look at the player fundamentals based on what you'd expect them, to sort of to generate within across all your products. So once you've that done, again, you can look at where your return is going to be. Remember, your payback period is just your break-even point, but it does indicate, once you reach that, if you can extend the player value beyond that, your return on investment calculations when it's annualized can look different across all products. So again, it's an important calculation to do, and it's important to understand that annualized ROI and break that out across your campaigns. And ideally, perhaps across your keywords, depending if there's enough differentiation in the users coming through on those. The second area where I look at is fraud and stake factor analysis. So this is, from my angle, probably the most insightful, because it gives you an understanding of how the quality of your customer has changed based on the PPC channel that you're bringing them in. So your database, you will have the stake factor on that. Also, within this particular stage, you want to look at bonus hunters, promo abuse, are customers gubbed? And again, just look at what keywords are generating this, what you're paying for them, and understanding on a deeper level the customers you're bringing in. The question then is, can you remove the stake factored customers or the bonus abusers or the fraud from your campaigns and maintain the good quality customers? And again, there's ways of doing that. I'm not going to get it into here, but again, this is really about analyzing the area where you need to make the changes and where the performance improvement can occur. In this particular step, I would also look at self-excludes, players that are on a break, and within this as well, AML and problem gambling identifiers too. And again, take a record of those as well, because this is really to look at what you need to remove, where you need to change the targeting of your campaigns to avoid these customers who essentially will have a negative contribution to your revenue. The third part of doing this review to find out where you need to make adjustments is your player value distribution and your KPI analysis. So really identify where your good players are coming from, where your VIPs are coming from, and seeing has that changed. Has certain keywords that we're delivering higher value customers now stopped? Have they moved to other campaigns where you may not be allocating as much budget? The campaigns may be limited due to budget. Impression share may be limited due to budget. So I love doing this on the keyword level. It is in gaming. It is important to do it on a keyword level, and in sports as well. So from our angle, we would try and get as granular as possible on a keyword level. Now, there's different ways you can do that. We always recommend storing both the Click ID, the Microsoft Click ID or the Google Click ID on your platform, but also the keyword, the match type, the ad ID. So there's a lot of stuff that you should be storing on top of the Click ID on your database, and it should be available within your data warehouse so that you can then review it and identify where your VIPs are coming from, what's the player quality like, and so on. Again, we can help you set that up, but for this particular presentation, it's really just about identifying where the changes have occurred that has resulted in the decline in performance. Again, there's so many factors within sports betting and iGaming. It's not a transactional sector. It's very much a lifetime value. There's so many variables. One of those variables is your CRM. If there has been changes in your CRM, that needs to be looked at. So generally what we would do is we'd look at your the player journey. Has that been extended? Is there additional factors that have come into play, maybe not just for you but industry-wide, that has extended the player journey out? And are you missing areas in the lower part of that funnel to acquire the customers? Are you losing volume? And in some cases, by maybe limiting your ads in certain cases, or by allocating budget elsewhere, you may be missing out on that final conversion search, which can actually make the difference in your campaign. So generally we look at that. We also look at your product revenue breakdown. Has there been changes to your product? Has there been changes to the cross-sell and upsell? Again, this is going to be something that would be quite common in the sector, particularly in the UK, where there's UKGC rules on cross-sell and bonus structure, and also in terms of limits on slot play. That's going to have an impact. So here is where you identify that, and here's where you'll be able to come up with an approach to recalibrate to maximize or minimize any damage that anything like that can cause. And you need to be looking at your CRM metrics across campaign, ad group, ad and keyword level, your active days, the average life cycle, and then a sort of a time segmented breakdown about what players are active across 7, 30, 60 days. Generally, what we suggest is piggyback on how your CRM reports this, work with your CRM team to identify these issues. And again, once you find them, then be able to make changes to your ad account that helps your CRM. But also there could be the case where your CRM just didn't perform, and as a result, it dominoed back to your Google Ads, your Microsoft Ads campaigns, and that needs to be discussed on a marketing team level. Again, it may be that you're actually doing the same thing. All the results are coming through the way they always have been, and there's a bottleneck or there's an issue with your CRM. As an acquisition marketer within the sector, you need to call that out. Hopefully not in an adversarial way, because generally the best results happen when all the marketing team works together. But it is something to understand, and it will be identified at this particular point in the process. So one of the areas where we find some operators lacking is the conversion setup. So the platforms now, generally, what you do outside the platform and the ad management interface is just as important, probably more important, than what you do within the ad platform system. The most important part of this is analyzing your conversions. So, as we all know, in iGaming and sports betting, there's a lot of variables, and customers need to be assessed and analyzed for a period of time before you realize and recognize if they're any good or not, and what their lifetime value is going to be. So this can be a sort of a problem, because in terms of conversion tracking, in terms of the life cycle of your Google Click ID, if you're feeding stuff back into the platform around conversion, there is a time limit on this. So you need to sort of come up with an approach that you can get a good understanding of the value tier of the customers, and then feed that value tier back in as the main conversion. First time depositors, feed it in. But more and more we're seeing bidding focused on post FTD activity being more successful from a value perspective and from a return on investment perspective. So we recommend not using cookie conversions for first-time depositors or registrations. We recommend essentially using the Google Click ID or the Microsoft Ad ID, assessing the payer profile, and once you've done that, then use that conversion for bidding. Now, the way we set up accounts is we do have multiple conversion types. Most of them are for, again, looking at the success of a campaign, looking at the user journey and the funnel. But when it comes down to bidding, if you're doing target CPA bidding or automated bidding in any form, it's important to feed in the conversions that have proven themselves not to be bonus abusers. So for instance, if there's a free bet, don't count people who've deposited for the free bet. Basically look at the deposit after that free bet has been played through, and again assess that they're not arbing with that deposit as well. And generally that's a rule of thumb that you can use as a conversion. If you are going to feed in more advanced conversions in terms of where the customer has been segmented, and if you can sort of accurately segment customers earlier on in their lifetime, you do have a distinct advantage there. On top of that, you can again experiment with using values and return on ad spend bidding. Again, it depends on your organization, it depends on your data analysis team, and it depends on how easy you can get those numbers and figures. But there's a number of different ways to do this. Simply just uploading a CSV file. But again, you can then sort of schedule Google to fetch a file with conversions on it, and that can be automated. But if you're not doing that already, it's important to do this. When you're looking for problems and issues, look at the conversions that you're feeding back into Google and assess, are they the customers you want? And more than likely, if you're not doing some post-conversion analysis, they're probably not. You're probably putting in customers that aren't of the profile you want, and as a result of that might be causing problems with the performance of your account. One of the major issues that every PPC manager across the world is facing, across every industry, has been the removal of control. And the removal of control has happened mostly through semantic matching. So even if you have exact match, Google will semantically match that exact match. So you have to manage hundreds of thousands of negative match keywords to run an exact match campaign like you used to do back in the good old days when I first started doing this, and the results would be through the roof. Unfortunately now, you're sort of looking at what keywords you don't want just as much as the keywords that you do want. And there's huge differences in search intent, primarily in the iGaming and sports betting space, because Google matches competitor brands in with generic exact match or generic terms. This can be problematic because the lifetime value across generics and competitors are different. And again, competitor strategy and PPC deserves its own video. I might make it. But again, different tiered competitors, you have different opportunities to get a larger share of the wallet based on the quality of the sports book you're targeting in those competitor campaigns and pricing. And the same goes for casino as well. What's the casino layout? What's the product? So there's analysis there and a layer of analysis that we'll probably cover in another video. In this case, when you're looking for problems, semantic matching, make sure that your generics aren't triggering competitors, and make sure that your generics aren't triggering free bet terms. Make sure that your sports terms aren't triggering casino, and vice versa. Really what you want to do here is look at does the search intent match the copy, match the funnel, and match what your target CPA. You want to reduce bonus hunters, lower value traffic. And again, this issue comes down to compliance. So you should have, across all territories, you should have a compliance negative list as well. So definitely look at that. Make sure you're not targeting keywords that are unethical to do, or you have been told by the regulator you should be negative matching these particular terms. So that's really where we come down to analysing the search term report. And in a lot of cases, this is where the problem lies. Google changes its semantic matching approach. You may have an automated box ticked somewhere within your campaign settings, and then problems come from that. So this is really important to analyze your search term and build your negative list. So you should be doing this, quite frequently and observing, what the trend and the changes are on your search term reports. Now, another issue that we find when you change bonuses, or you change the copy on your ads to emphasize your bonus, you could have a spike in click-through rate. For a lot of industries, you want to see a higher click-through rate, but in betting, you do not want to see clicks or get clicks from people who are going to be low value or people who aren't going to deposit and play your product. So in sports betting and gambling, it's very important to sacrifice click-through rate for player value. So you only want people clicking on your ads that are going to convert to that value tier that you're looking for. And that goes across casino and sports. In reality, your click-through rate quite often is driven by the generosity of your bonus. Again, if bonus hunters, if match betting arbors come through your ads, you could come in on a Friday, leave on a Friday thinking that your click-through rates have gone through the roof. You're going to have a great weekend. Come in on a Monday, conversions are through the roof, and then you look at the profitability of the campaigns, and you basically have obliterated the value that you've spent time building up on for the previous few weeks of the month. So this is where you need to focus on what delivers the best return on ad spend. And again, you may find issues there on your account that can be addressed. The sector, if you're working in the sector, you'll know, but if you're new to the sector, one of the things, particularly in sport, is keywords mean different things at different times. So the generic term, let's say betting site, coming up to a Champions League match on a Tuesday night, that is a soccer term. You will get more people who will bet on soccer, football, at that time. If during, say, the Cheltenham Festival at 11 a.m. in the morning time, that term is a horse racing term. And generally, throughout the week, maybe there's not a horse racing festival, and generally around that time, coming up to when the race meetings start, that is a horse racing term. And the same can be said, in the United States, late night or evening time, midweek. Chances are it's going to be a basketball term, and then on a Sunday it's going to be NFL all the way. So these keywords change, and this is not just your sports generics. There's variations of that. So you just need to be aware of the sporting calendar, how it impacts your keywords. And say, for instance, you have a very strong offering on a certain sport. Say cricket, for example, you have a very strong cricket product, and you acquire customers around the cricket event, but you have a very poor horse racing product, and then you acquire customers on the same keyword around horse racing. Well, the lifetime value for those cricket customers are likely to be more, likely to be higher. The same goes like with tennis. If you have a great live tennis product versus any other sport, baseball, golf, you can generally tell. So you're looking at your sporting calendar, you're looking at your product, and what's the strengths and weaknesses there, and you're also looking at pricing. So you may need to talk to traders, you may need to talk to product people, but again, having an assessment that's comprehensive will give you the resources to sort of present to other people in the team, so you can work together on finding a solution. But it's really important to understand what events drive your cost per clicks, and is it worthwhile targeting inflated CPCs if your product isn't good enough? How does the mass market events impact player value when again, it may have inflated cost per clicks? What's the impact on customer lifetime value? More so in sports, but again, you must have that sporting calendar in place, and you must have an awareness on the strength of your product versus your competitors as well. So once you've gone through this, it's always good to build a player profile per keyword if you have a big enough sample. If not, go back to campaign level and have a look. This is more so to communicate what you're doing on paid search to other teams, and to give them a handle on what they have to deal with day to day, be it customer service, CRM, trading, even the finance team. This is a great way, I find, of communicating paid search to other stakeholders within the business. And in terms of when you're competing for budget, you might have a sponsorship team that you have to compete against, maybe an affiliate team, and above the line, a TV team, an outdoor team, and so on. If you can present your player profiles, generally I find this resonates just as much as a spreadsheet with your return on ad spend. So it's important to be aware of this and to build this out. If you see a deviation in the type of customer you're acquiring when you're building this out based on when the issues happened on your account, again, this could be something that starts another investigation within the company to find out, well, why has the profile changed, what parts of the user journey or product has changed, have we changed our stake factoring policy, for example, and are we pushing good casino customers away because they're just betting their sports bets on somebody else, and as a result they're not starting to play casino with us after the sports events have finished. So it's important to do that. So a methodology that I always do and advise people to do is rank your keywords, campaigns, and product categories. This is important because you need to assess what has been the rankings before the issues have happened, and what has been the rankings when after the issue has happened. So understanding that, having some KPIs compared across all of these, it will give you some great insights and an understanding of what you need to do to identify. It could be 4 or 5 keywords could make the difference in your account, And by doing this exercise, it can definitely help. And again, budget allocation is very important as well. If your budgets have changed, then make sure you have the coverage on the higher value. Now, this comes down to your KPI targets at the beginning. If your KPI targets are conflict with value, so many times you may see a CPA target that must be achieved, but you can achieve that CPA target by driving those bonus hunters, bonus abusers, maybe arbors to the site. You tick the box, you can walk away. That's never the case. You should always hold your ground and talk about value and customer value and explain why the net present value of the customers you're getting may be a much higher CPA. That could be a factor of 4 or 5 higher, maybe 6, 7. Like, you're talking about much higher CPAs for these good customers. But the customer lifetime value, all the customer profile, the value tier, all of this analysis feeds in to the keyword analysis here, which would justify higher cost per acquisition based on past performance and based on the similar profiles that you're acquiring through these higher value and higher cost keywords. This, again, it's very important to do this to address these issues, and this will become apparent which changes across the rankings of keywords could potentially be where the problem lies. Another area that's very important, particularly when you're looking at search, paid search, it's an auction-based ad platform, second price auction, right? So it's always been a second price auction. When it comes down to auctions, price is not set by you. What you pay per click is not set by you. It's set by your competitors and the market. So doing competitor analysis can reveal some very important areas that you need to investigate further to find the solution to your problem. So the Auction Insights report is massive. Looking at your competitor bonuses, has a competitor become more generous with their offer? Have they constructed a bonus that appeals particularly to higher tier customers that are moving them from from signing up with your sportsbook or casino to theirs? Also, you need to be aware of brand protection on this. Are specific competitors targeting your brand? We mentioned earlier having a competitor PPC strategy. Well, maybe you're seen as sort of a soft touch. Maybe some competitors view your product as being inferior, view your offer as being inferior, and therefore are aggressively targeting your brand. So be aware of brand protection as well. And another area which pretty much doesn't happen, but it can happen, is affiliate compliance. So this is affiliates that are getting affiliate revenue from you, that have affiliate deals with you, running ads on your brand. Now remember I mentioned semantic matching. So inadvertently your affiliates this might happen, but you must ensure that your affiliate managers send a negative keyword list to be applied across all campaigns to every affiliate that's running PPC. And this is very important. Now, you may see affiliates running ads on your brand, but they may not have a deal with you. And so again, just be aware of that. So work with your affiliate team on this to sort of find out if this is happening. And again, it may make a difference. After you've done all of that, again, the easy part is the standard Google Ads analysis, or the housekeeping audit, as we call it here. Pretty standard. It doesn't. It's not going to move the needle as much as the other areas. I know we touched on maybe search terms and some auction insights, but really doing the standard housekeeping audit across many different touch points at that point. The key here for running PPC in 2025, we all know the affiliate costs have gone through the roof. A lot of people have tried PPC and failed. The reason why, they just didn't get the setup correct. 80% of the success of your paid search is down to setup. It's down to marketing tech integrations. It's down to your data analysis. Once you get those in place, you have a chance of building your paid search into a hugely profitable channel. However, it does involve a number of other teams within marketing. It does involve data analysis. It does involve getting your traders or risk analysis or risk analysts on board. But once it's done, potentially it could be one of the channels that does bring in the best return on investment from ad spend standpoint. Yeah, it is difficult to set up. You do need to have many years of experience running ads within the sector. So again, you can talk to us. Just if you, we can recommend other people as well. The key here is make sure you're listening to people who have, many years experience in the sector, who understand gaming, sports betting, CRM, trading, customer value, and who will, not be taken taken in by the glamorous low CPAs that most likely are down to bonus abuse. And people who have the experience of avoiding that particular problem that does happen. So when it comes down to paid search, we've just gone over some of the top points that you should be looking at. Hopefully it will help you out. If you have any problems with any of them, you'll just reach out to us. You can get us at team@tentenseven.com, or could reach out on LinkedIn. Visit the website and drop in a contact form there. I'm more than happy to discuss PPC with you. But again, if there's problems, if you're having issues, go through the process we've outlined, identify, those issues. Hopefully it's just, a few minor issues that you can resolve. However, it might, involve a complete sort of refresh of your account. But from our experience, firstly, look outside of the ad platform, assess your player value, and then move on to the ad platform and look at areas there. Again, there is a lot there in terms of going through your setup, and if you don't have the right setup at the beginning, it's going to be difficult for you to deliver the results. However, this presentation is more about if we are performing well and all of a sudden you've seen a drop. So you're not going to be performing well if you don't have a good setup. If you have any questions about paid search within iGaming and sports betting, again, as I said, let us know. We're happy to have a quick call and take a look at whatever issues you have. So again, we hope you found this helpful, and best of luck in resolving any issues you have across Google Ads and Microsoft Ads.